And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Really exciting show on tap for you this evening. We're going to be talking a lot of hoops with men's basketball head coach Lee Burgess, also women's basketball head coach Donald Hudson on the show. We'll be checking in with some of the Tornado basketball student athletes as well. And we'll check in with Director of Athletics Myranda Nash later in the show as well in this holiday edition of Tornado Talk. But before we get going, do want to thank our sponsors of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Appreciate their support. Arby's, BSN Sports, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Pardee Sports Medicine, Pepsi, Sully Steamers, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Appreciate their support and want to give special recognition to our partner Pardee Sports Medicine and Southeastern Sports Medicine and Orthopedics for being the official healthcare provider for Brevard College Tornado Athletics. In addition to the outstanding quality of care provided by the orthopedic doctors, Pardee also offers care in the areas of oncology, cardiovascular, primary care, and several subspecialties. Pardee Sports Medicine, proud partners with Brevard College Athletics. Well, appreciate you joining us this evening to talk all things tornadoes, and do want to wish all of you happy holidays. We are just on the precipice of the start of Christmas break and the winter break here at Brevard College. Students are in final exams this week. So festive time here at Brevard College, and just want to warmly wish you all happy holidays. Well, do want to catch you up around the world of Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Brevard College just returned back to Brevard after a trip to Hartford, Connecticut for the cycling team at the Cyclocross National Championships. A couple of podium finishes on the men's varsity side. Cole Punchard finishing second. Owen Clark finishing third. Punchard, of course, won the mountain bike national championship earlier this season as well. Women's basketball is coming off of a couple of big wins, a 79-53 victory over Bob Jones. They followed that up with a decisive win, 82-58 in USA South Conference play over William Peace. McKenna Parkins, for her most recent work, named USA South Women's Basketball Player of the Week. That's some breaking news just earlier today. Tornadoes are off for a little while now, but the women's basketball team will get back in action come the new year with the first home game after a road trip to start the new year versus Methodist. That's USA South Conference action, January 7th, 4 p.m. at the Bosch. Men's basketball, a decisive 96-82 win, really impressive performance earlier last week. And for that performance, some more breaking news. Sly White named USA South Men's Basketball Player of the Week. So great stuff there. Sly White. BC will be at Bob Jones this Saturday down in the Greenville-Spartanburg area. That's at 12 noon. And then the next home game for the Tornadoes will come the new year as well, January 7th, when BC host Methodist, part of a men's and women's doubleheader, USA South Conference action on Saturday, January the 7th. So as you're making your New Year's plans, make sure you circle that date, and love to have you out here at the Bosch. So with that, we're going to bring in our first guest of the evening, and welcoming into the program now, head men's basketball coach Lee Burgess. Coach Burgess, thanks for joining the show.
Absolutely. Always glad to have this opportunity and speak with you. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, outstanding, Coach. It's been a little while, so do want to kind of backtrack a couple of weeks to catch folks up. And I'd like to start with this trip to Swannanoa, North Carolina on Tuesday, November the 29th, a 76-70 win. I know that was a emphasis for this team to get that W after Warren Wilson defeated Brevard earlier in the season in non-conference play here at the Bosch. But the Tornadoes were able to equalize the season series with the Owls and get that win, 76-70.
Yeah, we were really desperate for a win that night. To that point, we had been very, very close in our games, but had not been able to come out on the W side of the ledger in the games that we had played. And so Again, felt like we were really, really close and just hadn't been able to get over the hump. So we were desperate for a win that game and played pretty well. Didn't play great, but played pretty well. And I was able to come away with a win. We had a double digit lead with maybe 3 minutes to go, maybe a 7 point lead with 2 minutes to go. I didn't feel like we closed the game super well. And so we were able to learn from a win, which is great. You always appreciate the opportunities to learn through wins. And I'm sure we'll talk about Oglethorpe a little bit later. And I felt like we closed the game against Oglethorpe much better than we did against Warren Wilson. So to see that growth as well was a positive, certainly, from a coaching perspective. But yeah, to get that win against Warren Wilson and kind of get that monkey off our back for that first win of the year, having been so close leading up to that point, was definitely a good thing for the program.
Yeah, let's go ahead and speak on Oglethorpe. Just 6 days later, the Tornadoes host Oglethorpe, a team that got the better of the Tornadoes last season, and Brevard a 96-82 win, season high points. From my vantage point, really a complete victory. In control throughout the game, and really, a complete performance by the Tornadoes. Quincy Carter coming up big again, second straight game that he has a big day offensively, and other contributors, LB Boyette, Chancey Watson, Carson Evans, but really a solid performance all around. I know you were pleased with it as well, Coach.
I was very pleased. We had definitely circled this game on our calendar after really candidly being embarrassed at their place last year. That we played them first game of the year last year, and they embarrassed us. And so to have that opportunity back at our place this year was definitely one that our guys were pointing towards. And I agree with you. It was a very well-rounded performance from our team. Really, I got into one of those situations in the locker room after the game where I spoke about one or two people specifically by name, and then I don't usually do that because then it's like, okay, I've got to make sure I mention everybody that really gave really positive impacts to that game, and I found myself just keep going and going and going and going. I felt like anybody who stepped on the floor in that game contributed in a positive way, and even the guys who didn't contribute on the floor, our bench was lively for that for much of that game, and that's certainly much easier to do when you're playing as well as we played. But you certainly mentioned Quincy, and I think he had 26 in that game, and that was coming on the heels of a 33-point performance at Warren Wilson the game prior. We were very efficient offensively in that game. Shot the ball very, very well, shared the ball very well, and really took great shots and was able to knock in our really good looks. So it was a very satisfying performance. Again, like I alluded to earlier, we finished the game well, had a lead, a double-digit lead, was able to sustain that lead and not really give Oglethorpe a chance to get back in it and make things interesting. We held them at bay towards the end of the game, which was growth for our program. And yeah, defensively, I thought we were solid. I mean, Oglethorpe scored 82 points. So certainly some things that we can do better with that. But, I did, speak. We're going to talk to Chancey Watson later. I did talk to him. I felt like that was one of Chancey's best individual defensive performances of his time at Brevard as well. Just being on the top of our defense, of our zone, and being able to help keep that ball in front, because Oglethorpe will put pressure on you off the bounce for sure, and have some really, really talented offensive players. And I thought we did a pretty good job of taking away their strengths and making them go to their third and fourth options.
Couple days later, a trip to Charlotte, North Carolina to take on Johnson and Wales. Not the result the Tornadoes were looking for, 75-74. A bit of a heartbreaker there coming down to the wire. Sly White, a career best performance, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 8 of 9 from the field, 4 of 4 from the land of 3, and career high 10 rebounds, to boot. And Sly White seems like a player who continues to make more and more an impact on this Tornado squad. I'd love to hear your comments on Sly, as well as these last couple games, Johnson and Wales, and then the trip to Division I, Western Carolina.
Yeah, first, just talking about Sly, very happy for him, very proud of him. He was somebody that um, was not really in our rotation last year. And I know he felt like he was a good enough player to be in our rotation. And some people handle that disappointment um, in a negative way. And Sly has handled all of that really well. He's put his head down and gone to work. He's been a great teammate from last year to this year, and he has gotten some more opportunities this year than he had last year, and he has taken advantage of them. And culminating here with a Player of the Week award, in our conference, which is just awesome for him. The Johnson and Wales game, which he had a great game in. You mentioned 4-4 from the arc. I believe all four of those threes were in the first half. And really, thanks to him in the first half, we were still in that game. In that Johnson and Wales game, we didn't play particularly well. I was proud of our guys for showing some grit, especially down the stretch. It was a very emotional game. We have a lot of guys from that area on our team, and I know that they had people there. It was a very good crowd, a very energized crowd, and both teams had a lot of supporters. And I know we had guys that wanted to play really, really well in that game, and sometimes that makes it more challenging for you to play well. And we had some guys that I know wish they could have played better. And thankfully, Sly had a great first half and a great game overall. But really, the first half, he kept us in it. And again, proud of our guys for giving us a shot to win at the end. We stuck with it those last 2 or 3 minutes and clawed back to give ourselves a shot to win that game. I wish we had done some things differently, or better the first 36, 37 minutes of that game to put ourselves in a better position. But in an environment like that, and Johnson and Wales is good. It's a good team that we played on their home floor in front of an energized crowd, and I felt like we went toe to toe with them, and just did not do enough things well to win. Did some things well enough to win, but not enough, and ultimately cost us by a point. So 2 days later, we turned around and go to Western Carolina. Those Division I games, they are good in a lot of ways, and challenging in more ways than they are good. We get some benefit from them as a program, which we need. And I know our guys, like playing in games like that when they get to play in an arena like Western Carolina has, or like UNC Asheville, USC Upstate have, and getting to go against the top level of amateur basketball is something that I know that we appreciate that opportunity. Um, I do wish, and I know our guys wish. It's not just me. I mean, we're all in this together. Wish we could have put a better foot forward, and Western Carolina has a lot to do with that. Our ability to put a good foot forward. So, Sly had a good game in that game as well. Western Carolina, Ryan Smith got going from the arc as well, which he had been struggling with his perimeter shot, leading up to that game. So hopefully that gets him going as well. So there definitely were some bright spots, and challenged our guys to have a little bit more fight than what I had seen in the first half. Challenged them at halftime, and felt like they responded in a positive way in the second half. And so we can take that game and learn from it, just like we can from any game, and now move forward. But the Division I part of our schedule is done, and now from here on out it will be similar competition for the rest of the way. Um, which again, in a lot of ways, is a good thing. We get benefit from those Division I games, but they do present some challenges that are difficult for us at times.
Yeah, some great exposure from those Division I games as well on ESPN Plus and network television. And you never know who might be watching and who might Brevard could get their attention and could pay off down the road. Do want to just mention also Sly White. You mentioned that first half versus Johnson and Wales. 4 for 4 from beyond the arc, 5 of 6 shooting overall in that first half, 14 points off the bench in that first half. So a big time half there, and he got rewarded with that USA South Conference.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that's basically half of our points in the first half came from Sly. So we needed him every bit of that in that game for sure.
All right, Coach. Next up is a trip to Bob Jones this weekend in Greenville, South Carolina, a noon start. And then following that, a trip to Atlanta, Georgia. Well, you'll be seeing Oglethorpe again and Sewanee as we head towards, the end of the calendar year here. Can you preview these final three games away from the home confines of Brevard College?
Sure. Yeah. So Bob Jones Saturday. We're in exams right now, and so the exam week practice schedule is a little bit disjointed. So we'll bring the guys in tomorrow just to get some shots up. Not really practice, but as they can get in there in between exams, get in there and get some shots up, and then we'll be able to have full practices Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Leading into the game against Bob Jones, and that was the team that we played here. I believe they beat us by 5, maybe 6, but um, again, we had a hard time defending their three best players off the bounce. Sims and Blair and Hughley really got whatever they wanted to against us. I think we're a different defensive team now than we were first game of the year against them. We're going to need to be because those three guys are good, and if we allow them to have the kind of night that they had against us here, then it will be a difficult game for us to win. So we'll certainly get that right in practice. But yes, another circle the game kind of game on our calendar. We owe them one. Dropped one here, and now we need to try to go get it back at their place. So we'll do that, and then be off for about a week or so for Christmas, maybe a week and a half for Christmas, and then bring the guys back on the 26th to practice. 26, 27, 28 before Oglethorpe on the 29th. And we've talked about that game, and I'm sure just like we were highly motivated to put a good foot forward against Oglethorpe, that that will be reciprocated on their end, on their home floor on the 29th. So we'll need to be ready to meet that challenge. And then Sewanee the next night. Sewanee it will be a very different kind of team in terms of prep than Bob Jones and Oglethorpe are. Both Oglethorpe and Bob Jones are going to try to put pressure on us off the bounce. Sewanee will try to do that, but in a very different way. They're a very system-oriented team, and so we'll have to be very, very locked in on what our scout is like. And it was a game that Sewanee operated very efficiently offensively at our place, and so they had two guys, Mar and Cohen, I believe, had really, really good games for them here. So they will present a very different challenge on a short prep. But we're playing the next three games against teams we've already seen, and we're 1-2 against them. So we owe some payback to a couple, and need to keep that positive going against Oglethorpe, and
All
we'll
right,
see if we're
Coach.
able to do that.
Yeah, best of luck with these remaining games before we really head into USA South Conference play come the new year. Happy holidays to yourself and your family. Can you
Thank
stick
you.
around just one moment longer here? We're going to bring in a couple of the student athletes as Jadon Carnes and Chancey Watson have entered the venue here at Tornado Talk. Coach, before we let you go, help introduce these two to NATO Nation.
All right. So Chancey Watson, one of our seniors, been with us for a couple years now, and is really providing a very steadying influence this year. Chancey has worked really, really hard to find the right ways for him to be aggressive, both offensively and defensively. And that last year for him, I think he will admittedly tell you that was something that he had to really, really work at. And I think it slowed him down a little bit. I think there's some mind that goes into that, but he's worked hard to get that right, and has been a very, very positive influence for us so far this year. And we're excited to see where the rest of the year goes with him. And then Jadon Carnes, freshman from Concord, and Jadon has really just basically taken advantage of any opportunity he's gotten this year. Did not play in our first game. Got a little bit of an opportunity in some of our Division I games, and did well with them, and thought maybe he needs a little bit more of an opportunity than what he's gotten so far, and got a little bit of an opportunity and did well with it. Got a little bit more and did well with it, and finds himself in the starting lineup. So very, very happy for him and excited for the future with him. But two guys that are in our starting lineup right here, one senior, one freshman, and have been a big part of us being able to get up off the mat after a tough start and play some better basketball here recently.
Outstanding. Well, really appreciate you joining the program this evening, Coach. We'll be following every step of the way on these upcoming road trips as well. Thanks for joining Tornado Talk.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, there he goes, head coach Lee Burgess from the Brevard College men's basketball program. And as coach helped introduce these two student athletes, Jadon Carnes. Welcome to the program, Jadon.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also with us, Chancey Watson here in the house. How you doing, Chancey?
I'm doing good. You?
Great. Outstanding. Well, it's great to have you guys with us to talk some hoops on a Monday night. Chance, let's start with you. Do you want to reflect back to this Oglethorpe game? We talked quite a bit about it with Coach. That was a solid victory, start to finish. From your perspective, what was the key to that win as far as you guys getting it done, against a very tough team that you guys, they got the better of last year?
I feel like defense. We came in with the right mindset and just executed, trying to stop their best players and just like trying to not give up anything. You know what I'm saying? So basically defense was the goal of the game. Yeah,
Jadon, I'm sure you can reflect back on that game as well. Your thoughts as far as the key to victory there?
No, yeah, absolutely. Defense was definitely the main key, but I think we played really well together as a team. And when you're playing well together as a team, it really helps boost your confidence, and that's what really took us ahead in that game, definitely.
All right, I'm going to reflect to an exact moment in that game that involved actually both of you guys. And I want to see if you can remember back with me, because I love to get real micro here and dissect this. LB Boyette comes up with a steal with about 50 seconds left to play in the first half. The ball is played forward on a fast break to Jadon Carnes. And then there is a no-look pass, Magic Johnson style, where Jadon finds Chancey Watson. And Chancey finishes off the play. And it was one of these where the entire Boschmer Gymnasium grandstands leapt to their feet. I was up there with announcer Brady Penn. He's losing his mind. And, it was a great momentum play heading into the halftime locker room as well. I'd love to hear from each of you that play specifically, because you guys are who lived it. If you I'm sure you remember it, but exactly, how that felt and, how that was executed. Jadon, get us started since you were the distributor on that play.
No, yeah, sure. I definitely will never forget that being a highlight so early in my career. But coming up the floor, I saw him open the whole time, but I knew that I had to get the other defenders to look the other way. So I kind of looked left, kind of dribbled left, and as soon as I saw the defender that was close to the Chance kind of looked that way, I just threw it. I knew he was going to be wide open, so I threw it right to him, and he had a great finish.
Yeah, and Chance, can you talk about being on the receiving end of a pass like that?
I didn't know what was going to happen because I seen him collapse, and I know Jadon can play, so I just trusted what he was going to do because I know it was a 3-on-1 situation, kinda. So I trusted whatever he was going to do, but it was a good pass, though. Good break.
Yeah. No doubt about it. And, Chancey, you went on 14 points, 2 made threes in that one to help the Tornadoes with that win over Oglethorpe, and Jadon 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists in that one. Let's reflect back a little further before that. There was another big win where you guys, were able to get that first win of the season. You were able to avenge a loss to a team that you fell to earlier in the year, a trip to Swannanoa in a win over Warren Wilson. Chance, thinking back to that one, keys to victory in that one.
Just locked in. Quincy had it going, so we was pretty much riding his coattail that game. Pretty much everybody was following Quincy. He was the leader of that game, so just following suit.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and certainly paid off in back-to-back wins there for the Tornadoes. Coming up next, a trip to Bob Jones, and it's an interesting time of the year. Of course, you guys are balancing, your final exams, finishing up the semester, and then the break is upon us, and you guys are able to get some R&R hopefully as well. Jadon, can you speak on what's coming up and sort of your mindset? This is your first go around, being a college student athlete. One, how's it going so far? And, what do you see as kind of the challenges, but also the benefits of kind of the schedule these next couple weeks?
No, yeah. I mean, it's definitely been great so far. It's been a lot better than I expected coming into the season, but also the school year. I think the biggest thing for me is being able to adjust time management with this being the first time that I've had to go through, playing games and having to deal with exams on an extremely high level. I think being able to focus on my time management is really what's going to help me succeed in these next couple of weeks. Definitely.
And Chance, you've been through a couple of these rodeos before, where you kind of know the environment here during the break. It's kind of an interesting vibe because it's like men's and women's basketball are the only folks on campus for a few of those days there, and you got to stay focused. You got to keep taking care of yourself and stay in shape, and then you return to practice. Can you maybe pass on some wisdom to perhaps the younger players, and what the key for you and your teammates has been over the years as far as managing the break?
Just find a routine that you can stick with, be consistent with it, and just just basically find a routine and lock in. It's gonna be hard, but you gotta lock in for real.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Well, do want to let NATO Nation learn a little bit more about each of you and your journeys. Jadon, as Coach mentioned, out of Concord, North Carolina. Tell us a little bit about your basketball journey. When did you get started? When did it become real serious? And then how'd you find Brevard?
No, yeah. So I've been playing basketball, I like to say mostly my whole life, but really at the age of 5, I really started to fall in love with the game. And I think after my 7th grade middle school season, I really wanted to take my game to the next level. So playing travel ball and going across, different states and playing in tournaments is really kind of what led me to finding Brevard. Just playing in a tournament and Coach Leathers, finding out about me and my game and reaching out to me and came up here on a visit, and it was better than I expected. And that's what kind of led me to being here.
Chancey Watson, senior guard out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Same question for you, Chancey. Kind of tell us about your journey and ultimately finding Brevard.
Well, I've been playing since I was really young, and I just fell in love with the game. Prior to coming here, I was at Southern Wesleyan University, and then I reached out to Coach Miles or whatever, and we got in contact, and it's been good ever since I came on a visit, and I loved it ever since.
All right. But before we get on to just a couple more topics, I do always like picking the mind of basketball players on the following. Chancey, do you have a favorite NBA team, and do you have a player that you've kind of always looked up to, maybe emulated your game around?
I don't really have a team, but it's 2 players, Kobe and LeBron. That's about it.
Sounds like Lakers might be your team, and I'm sure our next guest, Coach Hudson, could sway you in that direction as well. Jadon Carnes, same question for you. Do you watch a lot of NBA, and if so, do you have a favorite team? And is there a player that you've always kind of looked up to, maybe modeled your game around?
Yeah, my favorite NBA team is easily the Charlotte Hornets. I'm a diehard Hornets fan, so I keep up with them every year. My favorite players that I kind of model my game after and that I've just watched since growing up is 2 players for me. Kemba Walker, obviously a Charlotte Hornets legend, and Klay Thompson of the Golden State Warriors. 2 of my favorite players in the league and of all time.
Very good. Well done. But it is finals week. I know you guys are grinding and so forth. Chancey, a senior, tell us what your major is, what you're going to get your degree in, and a little bit about your studies, what you're focused on.
Business, but the market route. I'm trying to do anything with marketing after college. Start up a business and just take it from the ground up.
Very good. And Jadon, don't expect you to have all the answers, in your first semester here at Brevard College, but have you zeroed in on a major?
Yeah, so physical education and recreation is definitely the route that I want to pursue going forward.
Outstanding. Before we let you go, do you want to give you an opportunity for any shout outs or thank yous? You can take as much time as you want. You can go to any direction you want. And, Chancey, let's get it started with yourself. Shout outs, thank yous.
I got in trouble last time I was on here, so let me give a shout out to my family first. Mom, dad, all those people, family, friends, God, of course, and I like to shout out myself too.
Yeah, well done, Chancey, and I'm glad you made up for whatever slip up last time. That's great. Jadon Carnes, same opportunity for you. Anybody you want to thank who maybe has helped you along the way on this journey, or just want to give a shout out to?
No, definitely God and definitely my family and coaches back home for just supporting me through my journey.
Very good. Jadon, Carnes, Chancey, Watson, thanks for taking some time with us tonight on Tornado Talk. It's really been a lot of fun watching this year's edition of Brevard College Tornado men's basketball. Can't wait to see you, come the new year back at the Bosch. And best of luck with these next few trips beginning this weekend at Bob Jones.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, there they go, Jadon, Carnes, and Chancey Watson. We're going to switch gears very quickly here and bring in head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson into the program. Coach Hudson, welcome aboard.
What's going on, Phil? Thanks for having me on.
We're having a great evening talking some hoops, Brevard College style, and always great to check in with you, Coach, and talk some women's basketball as well. And the team has been playing well. 3 straight wins here against, if you take out the exhibition against a Division I team, of course, 3 regular season wins in, USA South Conference play versus Salem and William Peace. A win also at Bob Jones. Can you talk about, what's working and, why we're seeing these kind of results, game in and game out right now?
It's a multitude of things, Phil. A few things kind of go into that. One of the biggest things right now that we're trying to gather and keep as a team is consistency. Really being consistent with our efforts and with our habits and with our practice time. We're performing okay on the defensive side. We have some players on the team that can get hot and can score the basketball and put it in the bucket. So we don't really think that'll be a huge issue for us. We just really, really want to become a team that can defend at a high level, rebound at a high level, and execute our offense when we need to. And I've been pleased up until this point. We've had some highs and some lows. As any coach will tell you, that's a part of the season, and it kind of makes the journey. But where we are right now, 10 games in, 7-3, I think we're playing solid basketball, but there's a lot of room left to grow. I'm looking forward to the second semester and watching this team kind of grow together and seeing where this ride can take us.
7-3 overall, 4-0 in the USA South Conference. I'm sure, looking at the schedule initially, Coach, you really wanted to get off to this kind of start in conference play.
Yes, it helps. It helps to kind of take care of home, and you want to try to win as many home games as you can and try to steal a few on the road. And we've been successful with that thus far. We've been able to kind of take care of business with all of our conference games. The talent level in the competition is going to pick up some in the second half, but we're ready for it. Like you said, looking at the schedule early in the year, you want to get off to this kind of start for multiple reasons. For one, for confidence. You want your team to kind of feel good about the things that you're doing and see some results, and they kind of believe in it. And it goes with the buy-in of the group. And for 2, to put yourself in a decent position for the home stretch when we come back after break. I think we've done that. I think we've done both of those. We've played at a decent enough level to where the girls have confidence in themselves and what we do. And we've also put ourselves in a decent spot as far as conference standings and everything for when we come back.
This past week, 2 wins, a win at Bob Jones, and then a home win over William Peace. And, as a result of those performances on the individual side of things, Marion, North Carolina junior forward McKenna Parkins named USA South Conference Women's Basketball Player of the Week. She had a double-double, 13 and 10 against Bob Jones, and then had 18 points and was all over the stat sheet against William Peace. Love to hear your comments on McKenna winning that honor, but also the team these past 2 games getting it done.
Yeah, absolutely. And McKenna would be the first one to tell you that she doesn't do that without the group. That's her second one of the year. I want to say it's back-to-back. I think she's gotten it in back-to-back weeks, and she'll tell you that she doesn't get any of those accolades or any of those honors without the team. We've been putting ourselves in solid positions. McKenna is a kid that can really put up some good offensive numbers. She can rebound well. She can shoot it from the outside. She can score mid-range, score on the block. So when things are kind of rocky offensively, we try to go to a certain set or a certain action that kind of puts her in a certain spot to be aggressive. And she'll either get a good shot that allows us to get back on defense, or she'll work herself to the free throw line or get the basket that we're intended for her to get as we're throwing the ball into her. But she's been a pleasure to coach, Phil. Now, this is my 3rd year having her, and she's gotten better every year. You can see some aspects of her game improving every year. Going back to her senior year at Marion, in Marion at McDowell, you could see that she was going to be a talented scorer. There's certain things that you would like to see get better, and they have. But I still think there's room for her to grow. She's done a phenomenal job on the volleyball court. I think she was all conference, and now we're going to ask her to be an all-conference basketball player as well. And I think she's off to a really good start. really good leader for the team. As you know, we're pretty young. We have one senior, and she's a part of the junior class that's kind of leading this group along. And I've been pleased with her.
Yeah, and you're correct, Coach. Back-to-back USA South Conference Player of the Week honors, which is just sensational. And last week, reflecting back even a little further, Parkins and then Michaela Street winning the Rookie of the Week for the USA South Conference, a Brevard College sweep of the conference awards. First time in program history that's happened. Love to hear your comments on Michaela Street and also Olivia Miller, this freshman class, these newcomers, how much they've been, contributing. Miller has won that award twice, that Rookie of the Week award. So, certainly the accolades are coming, but, you see the whole picture, Coach, and just how much these, freshmen are contributing.
I do. And I get to witness it firsthand every day in practice. And first things first, these kids are really good. They're talented and they can play the game, but there's still a lot of room for growth. We got to make sure that they still reach that potential that they have. And they've hit the ground running. This freshman class has done everything that they were recruited to do. Now, there's a few that you guys haven't seen. Like, you haven't really seen much of Jada Wilkins. She's been sidelined with some injury. Christina Roan is one that'll probably be back second semester. So there's more to go along with the class that you've already seen. But we've been pleased with them. They bring a dynamic to the team that we needed. Michaela's a really, really good athlete with a really quick first step. Not too many people are going to keep her in front. She gets by her initial defender majority of the time. And Olivia Miller's rebounding really well. She's scoring around the basket. She's a presence that we can play at the 4 and the 5. Either front court spot, she's comfortable playing those. And so they're doing what we expected them to do, Phil. I don't want them to feel like they've arrived where they need to be yet now. There's definitely room for them to grow. But as of right now, I'm pleased with them. And I think that potential will eventually turn into the results that we want to see, because they both work really hard. They get after it in practice. You see them around the gym, sometimes outside of practice, improving on themselves, and really good people, Phil. Good players, but they're really good for our locker room and our campus as well.
Outstanding. Yeah. Olivia Miller, the freshman out of Hudson, North Carolina. Michaela Street, the freshman guard out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, making a big impact already. And the two of them, along with several other players, create a lot of different opportunities for different combinations of lineups on the court. Really, from my vantage point, Coach, as dynamic of a roster you've had as far as different pieces you can use in different places. And, the depth is apparent, even with, some players who have been out. We haven't even seen the full spectrum of what the Tornadoes can do depth-wise. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that now that we're a few games in, as far as this roster and just all the possibilities of it.
Yeah, definitely the deepest team that we've had here. Last year's team could go maybe 8 or 9 deep, and I think this team can go maybe 11 or 12. We have talent throughout the roster, and it really helps with game planning. It helps with practice. And I know it's probably a headache for some other coaches. You have to plan for different kids to do different things, and we have a few that can score throughout the roster. Like, it's not just 2 or 3 people that are going to dominate the scoring. As you're seeing on any given night, it can be any of our players. And that's comforting as a coach to know that the ball is moving, we're using each other, and we're talented enough to make the plays happen when the actions lead to the shots that we want. But yeah, it helps out with the foul trouble. Watching us play over the last few years, I know that's something that you've seen. We're an aggressive, attacking, defensive style playing team, and it leads to fouls sometimes, and that can kind of handcuff us. But this year, we're deep. We have enough depth to, if somebody gets in foul trouble early, we can run a couple of players to the scores table and not really lose a beat.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, Coach. Last one before we invite in a couple of your student athletes. The 82-58 win over William Peace actually was the last game we're going to see the Tornadoes in action for a little bit. We're not going to see another game until January the 4th. Kind of an unusual schedule this year where you've got this extended break. Obviously finals this week, and then the holidays and winter break here on campus. But Tornadoes will be back in action on January the 4th. Can you speak a little bit on the this year's challenges and opportunities with this schedule, and then also the plan for these next few weeks?
Okay, as far as the plan goes, first things first, I want the girls to do a really good job this week with their exams. Finish strong in the classroom, take care of their business in the classroom, and whenever they get finished this week, they're free to go. We don't have any games or anything, like you said, until January. So no practice or anything this week. Whenever they finish with their exams, they can safely hop on the road and head home. And the plan is to come back maybe 2 or 3 days after Christmas, December 28th, around that time, and have a full week of practice before we kind of go into our conference schedule. And that's going to be really important. We can't stress enough how important it is for the team to go home, really enjoy your family, really get some rest, relaxation. Don't think too much about basketball, but don't let your body get out of shape too much. Try to run a little bit, do some push-ups, go get some shots, run a mile around your neighborhood, just something where your body is moving so we haven't lost all of the stuff that we've built up until this point. So when we get back December 28th, I think we have a full week to get ready for Mary Baldwin, and it's going to be really important, not as far as Mary Baldwin goes, but for us to kind of work on some things that we need to work on. So we'll have about 3 or 4 days of just nothing but us working on boxing out, executing offense, our press offense. There's different things that we can be better with. So that's the plan from now until January 4th when we hit the ground running, coming back from break.
Makes a lot of sense, Coach, and looking forward to seeing you all when you get back for break. For Tornado fans, next home game, January the 7th. That's Saturday, January 7th, part of a men's-women's doubleheader. The women's game at 4 p.m. Men's game starts at 2 versus conference foe Methodist. Well, Coach, are you able to stick with us just a couple minutes more? We're going to effort a few of your student athletes into the program here.
Yes, sir.
As joining the show now, Alexis Marshall in that bottom right corner, and also Lexi Shepard has arrived as well. Coach, help NATO Nation get to know these two outstanding student athletes even better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll start with Lexi, and everyone that's kind of followed the program for the last year and a half knows exactly who that kid is. She's become a staple in the program. From Summerville, South Carolina, a sophomore for us that's doing a really good job of leading the team and running the point guard spot, kind of the head of the snake on both sides. She and Alexis do a really good job of applying pressure to the opposing point guards and running our offense consistently. They kind of are the ball handlers 1 and 2, no matter who's starting or who's coming off of the bench. I know what I can expect from both of these players right here. And Alexis was a sophomore that came to us from Montreat, from Shelby, North Carolina, and has been nothing but really good for us on both sides. Has been really good for us. I know exactly what I'm going to get when we sub her into the game. Really good practice player, really good person. So both of these kids are doing exactly what we expect them to do on both sides of the ball, practice, games, and really good for the campus and good for our team. NATO Nation, these are 2 good ones right here.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, thanks for taking some time with us this evening on Tornado Talk. Best of luck moving forward, and we can't wait to see you back in action. Happy holidays to you and your family.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on, Phil. Y'all have a good night, ladies.
All right. Coach Hudson, there he goes. And as Coach Hudson helped introduce our next 2 guests, Alexis Marshall, the sophomore guard from Shelby, North Carolina, has joined the program. Alexis, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And also with us is the sophomore guard from Summerville, South Carolina, as Coach helped us introduce, Lexi Shepard. Lexi, welcome to the show.
Hey, Phil, how are you?
Doing great. Well, Lexi, let's start with you. Since you've been around a little bit longer than Alexis, you guys are both listed as sophomores, but this is Alexis's first year at Brevard College. And you all were able to finish off this final week before finals with 2 big wins, 79-53 at Bob Jones, and then 82-58 versus William Peace. Lexi, that was big for the team to finish on a high note heading into finals and heading into the Christmas break. What did you think the key was there? And, you guys pleased, I'd imagine, with those results.
Yes, sir, we are. The biggest takeaway and what we're pleased on and what led us through that game is defense and being locked into our scout and trusting each other in the game and in practice.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense, and it certainly showed with those results. And Alexis, now that you're getting to know the Brevard College culture, the coaching style, your teammates, and that kind of thing, what do you think is the key to this continued success in getting the W's? What is it that when you guys do it right, it results in a W?
I believe that it's trusting each other. We have really been able to trust each other, and that really helps us a lot.
the graphic there mentioned your performance versus Warren Wilson. Kind of a bust out game for you a little bit, Alexis, as fans are starting to become more and more familiar with you. 93-59, the win. Do you remember that one, that trip to Swannanoa, and kind of getting back, that direction as far as where you're from in North Carolina? That was cool to play that game, I'd imagine, and come up with that win.
Yeah, it was. I like being near home. I had some family come and see me.
Yeah, but very cool. And Lexi, you've kind of busted out a bit this year as well. Double-digit points in 3 different games this year. So I feel like we're seeing more and more of your game, in kind of the different parts of it. Can you tell us a little bit, maybe some of the things that you worked on in the offseason as far as elevating your game that much further?
In the off season, I really try to work on not hesitating as much and taking it as I see it, knowing when to pass at the right times. I'm still working on it. I still mess up a few, but I'm glad I was able to perform in the games that I did, in the ways that I did.
Yeah, it's certainly showing the work you all have put in on the offseason, and you guys continue to, to play well. 7-3 overall, 4-0 in the USA South Conference. Well, Alexis, let's let NATO Nation get to know you a little better. We know you're from Shelby, North Carolina, but tell us about your basketball journey. When did you start playing? When did it become serious? And ultimately, tell us how you found Brevard College.
So I started playing in about 3rd grade, and I really loved the sport. I picked it up, and I played all throughout middle school and high school on travel teams. And I first went to Montreat, and then I transferred here, and I've really liked it here.
And Alexis, just as a follow-up, what do you like about Brevard College? What makes Brevard College special and in a great place to be a student athlete?
It's really just the atmosphere and the people here. Everyone here is very nice and welcoming and just very sweet.
Lexi, same opportunity for you. Tell us a little bit about your journey, on the basketball side of things. Did you always know, you wanted to be a player on the hardwood, and, how did it kind of progress to where you're at today?
No, sir. I actually started off with dance and karate, and then in 7th grade, I just decided I wanted to play child basketball, and I just kind of started from there. Got to take it serious in high school, and finally got the opportunity once I graduated to come play for Brevard and Coach Hudson and AB.
And quick follow-up for you, just like we did with Alexis. Tell us, what it's been like, being a student athlete here at Brevard College, and perhaps there's some young players, back in your region who might catch this program, and you can communicate to them a little bit just what it's like to be a student athlete here.
Well, to be a student athlete, you gotta be the student first, and it's been difficult at times, but I was able to pick it back up and figure out what I need to do to be successful with the help of my teammates and my friends and my coaches and all my resources on campus.
Just a couple more before we let you go. Alexis, you're also a member of the Brevard College women's soccer team. So dual sport athlete, we've got some other dual sport athletes, throughout our athletic department, including, your teammates, McKenna Parkins and Melanie Hoyle. There's even more beyond that. But Alexis, tell us a little bit about that experience, playing both soccer, basketball, maybe how you had to switch gears come back basketball season, how you manage it all.
Yeah, soccer was very fun. I really liked playing it, and the transition from soccer to basketball was very hard. It's 2 different conditionings, so when I went from soccer to basketball, I had to retrain my mind to get into basketball shape. But I really liked it, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, very cool that you're able to experience 2 very different sports, but probably some similarities at the same time, that you're able to find some common ground, and nicely done being able to to handle both those sports plus your academic load. And Lexi, you mentioned the emphasis on student when it comes to student athlete. Tell us a little bit about what you're working on academically. Have you chosen a major, and if so, what is that? And have you thought even career wise what you might want to get into?
Right now I'm still trying to figure that out. But I'm definitely going with either a communications minor or a business minor because I feel like that can always help and enhance on the outside world. But as far as my major, I have not chosen one. I'm hopes to figure that out before I start my junior year.
Very good. Well, certainly it's a time to explore all those possibilities, and no better place to do that than Brevard College. Alexis, have you zeroed in on a major? And if so, let us know what you're up to in the classroom.
Yes, my major is health science, and I want to be a PA eventually.
Very good. Well, before we let the two of you go, do want to give you each the opportunity, and you can go in whatever direction you want. You can take as much time as you want. Thank yous or shout outs. You have the opportunity to thank anyone who may have helped you along the way. You have the opportunity to shout out anybody who might be tuning into this program at some point or not. The floor is yours, Lexi Shepard.
I'd like to thank my teammates, my coaches, also my mom, my dad. They're funding and helping me and supporting me every day. My sisters and my brother. And then, of course, my friends as well.
Very good. Same opportunity for you, Alexis Marshall. Shout outs or thank yous?
Yeah, I want to thank God for letting me be able to play this sport. And then I want to thank my family for supporting me and always having my back, and my teammates and my coaches that got me here.
Very good. Alexis Marshall, Lexi Shepard, two members of this Brevard College women's basketball team. It's been a lot of fun to watch you ladies this season so far. 7-3 overall, 4-0 in the USA South Conference. Congratulations on that great start to the season. Best of luck during final exams, and have a wonderful break as well. Happy holidays to you and your family and your loved ones. Alexis Marshall, Lexi Shepard, thanks for joining the program.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
All right, there they go. The two members of the Brevard College women's basketball team. Appreciate them joining us. And we're going to bring in our final guest of the evening now as we invite into the program, once again, Director of Athletics, Myranda Nash. Myranda, thanks for joining the show. Great to have you on here.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
Yeah, it's been a little while since we had the chance to catch up, and it's a really interesting time of the year because it's finals week. We pretty much are wrapped up with home athletic events. There's still a couple more men's basketball games, coming up before the calendar year turns. But it's a wonderful time of year where we're able to kind of reflect and, celebrate a bit and have some gratitude and all that. Tell me your feelings, on the athletic department calendar when you hit this point, what it's like exactly.
Yeah, I think we always say, like, how is it already December? I think that's kind of like the overarching conversation that we all get to the end of the semester, like, wow, that went really fast. I have so much to be proud of this semester. And, at Brevard, we know how to celebrate each other. And we have a week full of festivities planned. It's just a really great time to kind of remember why we do what we do. And, it's a great time.
We spoke about it a little bit last time you were on, Myranda, when, Josh Wilkie was recently appointed as our new faculty athletics representatives in its finals week, and it's just so important, from the athletic department perspective in the Division III side of things, as well as far as what we stand for, to emphasize, these are students first. We got to make sure that they're getting the resources they need to succeed in the classroom, ultimately receive that diploma. And, this is a week where we kind of clear out quite a bit, as far as, hey, let's make sure we take care of business with finals. But I'd love to hear your perspective as far as that side of things, academics, the kind of support that not only the athletic department, but also the college provides to these students.
Yeah, no, we're really lucky in that we have some amazing faculty and staff that work with our students and provide support. Angie Mascaro has done a phenomenal job in student success along with Josh Wilkie. And they have a team there that just really cares about our students and their performance and, what they're going to be able to accomplish, especially as the semester turns. If you don't take care of things in the classroom, you can easily find yourself ineligible come January. And so it's a critical time for many of our sports, with basketball's in season, and then with our spring sports just around the corner.
And on the field and on the court, a very successful fall season. And folks might not realize this, but the USA South has a competition amongst all the institutions. It's called the President's Cup, where there's an overall President's Cup, a men's President Cup, a women's sports President Cup. And this is a accumulation of, there's a whole, algorithm, the formula to figure this thing out. But it's basically the best overall athletic department on the field, on the court, in competition. And in the first standings released this season, Brevard is number 1 in the men's cup standing and is in 3rd place in the overall standing. So, a great start to the fall. Sports like football, men's soccer, women's soccer, volleyball, cross country, getting us on the right foot here. I know you're proud of this, Myranda, and this is the kind of thing that the whole campus, has been celebrating.
Absolutely. Our fall sports did what they needed to do in terms of getting it done on the field. And the President's Cup, is an amazing goal for our department to strive to win. I think that it would be an accumulation of all of our teams being incredibly successful throughout the year. So our fall sports certainly have set us on the right path for a great showing for that. And no doubt that our basketball teams aren't going to continue that. They both are doing phenomenal right now. So.
Yeah, just a few of the numbers kind of supporting that achievement. Brevard College football ends up 5-2 in conference play. The cross country team on the men's side finishing 2nd. Women's soccer qualifying for the USA South Conference tournament as well. And then the men's soccer team wins the USA South Conference, goes to the NCAA Division III tournament. Just the wildest USA South Conference tournament, one can imagine as far as how it all went down. We're talking penalty kick shootouts, overtimes, you name it. And just a wonderful achievement for a great group of guys, the Brevard College men's soccer team. Myranda, I know this was a real highlight of the fall.
Yeah, those guys played so much soccer that week. They just kept going. We had, a home contest with some penalty kicks that you just can't beat that kind of atmosphere. And the support they had amongst, all the other teams that were there. I think I was nervous about making sure no one was behind the goal the whole time so that there wasn't going to be some kind of, contest later about it. But incredible support. So happy for that team. They're constantly striving to get better and just have a really unique story. And so I'm really proud of them.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss not to mention the international flavor of the men's soccer team. 14 different countries represented this year, and the majority of them were playing in the World Cup. When the World Cup started, a few weeks back, and it's hard to even put into words what that's meant to this campus as far as the energy that's happening around campus. There was a feature this weekend on WLOS television that we're going to post on BC social media that everyone will get to view. And these guys have been, debating, philosophizing, taunting, you name it, as far as supporting their home countries. And it's been a lot of fun. But what a truly unique and compelling dynamic this international flavor of Brevard College men's soccer.
No doubt. And I love that it's all centered around BC Outfitters and JP. They've formed such a great relationship with an alum of the program, and he's able to connect with them and just provide kind of a space for them to be able to go and just hang out and talk about that. And then having the World Cup and then being able to physically do this thing that they love, they're so passionate about, and then see it and then be represented with their country. It's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah, for those who don't know, BC Outfitters, the name brand of the campus, what was the campus bookstore, and a great place to stop by when you're on campus to, get you gear up for Brevard College Tornadoes athletics, and, a great environment there as well. If you just want to hang out for a little bit and talk some soccer with the guys, that's the place to do it. Well, would also be remiss not to mention the cycling program. Everyone knows, Brevard College known for its cycling program, 10-time national champion. once again, some big success. Trip to Durango, Colorado for the Mountain Bike National Championships, 3rd overall, number 1 east of the Mississippi. And Cole Punchard, a sophomore here at Brevard College, wins the individual Omnium for best overall rider. 2nd straight season, a Brevard College Tornado has won that award. And then this past week, the Tornadoes head to Hartford, Connecticut, and they competed in the cyclocross championships in some crazy weather conditions and did well up there as well. I know you continue to be proud of this cycling program, Myranda.
Yeah, they constantly overcome adversity, and that's what's so inspiring about that team. And so they just are the grittiest bunch of group that, somehow finds a way, and so just really proud of them. And cyclocross always seems to have really just crummy weather. I think that's like par for the course of when you're going to host. But yeah, really proud of them, and their representation of us at those national events. Just that's the group that I'd want to have there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, a few more items we want to touch on before we let you go, Myranda. There was a coaching announcement not too long ago. Abby Pardee, who was the interim head coach for Brevard College volleyball, elevated to the head coach position. It's now her program moving forward. I know you were thrilled, to make this announcement. Abby, has put in some great time. I got to work with her with sports information when she arrived here, and helping out myself and Joseph Marvin, just a great now permanent addition to the Brevard College Tornado Athletic Department.
Absolutely. I think for us, we talk about fit, and Abby's a wonderful fit for Brevard College, especially for our volleyball team. And that was evident throughout the year, and really excited to see her growth as a head coach, and our team excited for what they have in their future, because I think she's going to be the perfect leader for that team.
Yeah, great to have Abby Pardee leading the Brevard College volleyball program. Well, community service has been a big emphasis throughout this fall semester as well. And do want to touch on 2 programs, the first of which, and kind of like the President's Cup, people might not be aware of all these, additional competitions in the USA South Conference, but the Tornadoes, part of the Cans Across the Conference program. Once again, this is a SAC initiative, Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and the Tornadoes finished 3rd with 2,359 items collected that are given to organizations where, these food items really get to those in need here locally. But they do it through a very unique, the Trick or Treat for Cans program, where they literally go door to door here in Brevard, North Carolina, and trick or treat for cans, just like it sounds. Myranda, I know you're proud that the Tornadoes continue to get it done in this department.
Absolutely, our SAC's been wonderful. Our SAC exec, they have done a fabulous job. And Kristen's leadership with SAC this year as well. So this was kind of like our first year back from COVID to go trick or treat for cans around town again. So, it's nice. We had that established before COVID. And so it'll be nice to have that come back, year in, year out. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, congrats to all the student athletes. It truly was a team effort across all the sports to come up with that many items that, of course, go to those in need, and a great cause. And also the SAC, sponsored a winter clothing drive. We want to thank all those who were able to stop by the Boschmer Gymnasium and donate winter clothes, again, getting those into the hands of those in need during the, the cold weather months here in Transylvania County. So appreciate all that good work as well. I know this community service piece, Myranda, for any athletic department, it's important, but it helps the student athletes so much as far as their growth and, on their way to, the rest of their life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially our work with the Boys and Girls Club. I've had a lot of students who maybe weren't really sure what they wanted to do. And then after working in some kind of community engagement activity, decided that they really wanted to be a teacher, or they found their passion through service. And I think that's really important for us to expose students to that type of thing, and also just to make sure they know the importance of giving back to their community.
Yeah, no doubt, and great avenues to do it here at Brevard College. Well, Myranda, before we let you go, I usually reserve these opportunities for the student athletes, But since it's like Christmas time and it's the holidays and all this, I'm going to let you kind of riff a little bit and give some gratitude, some holiday wishes, whoever you want to kind of loop into the stream of consciousness, type of thing. No, but in all seriousness, it's been a great year once again. And we are so grateful here at Brevard College for what all the folks who have helped us behind the scenes and all of our supporters and sponsors and all that. So I want to give you that same opportunity, Myranda, as we're here in this holiday season.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. There's a lot of things that would never happen without the support from our Tornado Club. And, I try and do the best I can to thank them. But it's nice to kind of have this platform to thank them as well. We've got some incredible supporters, both with time and financially, to our programs. And so having them constantly support our student athletes and provide for their experience, there's just so much that just wouldn't happen. I think President Andrews and his wife Trish, this is their first fall with us, and so having them, with the programs, has been really important, and just to show them what Brevard's about with his inauguration, and so just really thankful for their leadership and everything that they've brought. In terms of support to athletics as well. Of course, Juan, he's my direct boss and also our head women's soccer coach. But his leadership and advice has always been appreciated and definitely taken throughout the years. My admin team, I have an easy job. That's what I tell everyone. My admin team runs everything. So I've been very, very lucky with the administrators that we have here. Our head coaches and assistant coaches, we just have an incredible group. We're going bowling tomorrow together for our holiday party, and I'm really excited kind of get out there and have some jawing back and forth. There's a cash prize for the top team. So no, it's a lot of fun for us to be able to hang out in that capacity, where it's not just about work. And that's something that we do a good job with at Brevard. So, and then I think just like campus life and the staff, the experience that they provide for our students, they wouldn't be happy without, them. And so, it'd take a really long time for me to thank everybody, but there's a lot that takes a college to operate, and for our students to have the experience that they have. It's a great time for us to sit back and reflect and make sure that we thank those people in person. I think we need to take the time to do that for sure.
Very good. Well, thank you as well for your leadership, Myranda. And I'll tell you, this is a cool place to work, not just be a student. So I certainly, echo all your thoughts there. Happy holidays, Myranda. Thanks for sharing some of that with NATO Nation, and congrats on a great fall semester here at Brevard College.
Yeah. As always, Phil, it was wonderful.
Very good. Director of Athletics, Myranda Nash. We appreciate her joining the show, as well as head men's basketball coach Lee Burgess, men's basketball student athletes Jadon Carnes and Chancey Watson as well. We also checked in with head women's basketball coach Donald Hudson. Thanks to Coach Hudson, as well as Tornado women's basketball student athletes Lexi, Shepard, and Alexis. Marshall, want to thank all of our sponsors as well, and Party Sports Medicine in particular for all they do to help keep our student athletes safe and healthy. And want to thank you, NATO Nation. Another great fall semester. It's finals week this week. The winter break is around the corner. We're going to take a break from Tornado Talk until the new year. We'll see you come the new year. And then we're going to be in full swing with basketball, as well as, before you know it, the spring sports are going to kick off here at Brevard College. We can't wait to bring you all that action as well. Want to thank our producer this evening, Joseph Marvin, and all those that help Brevard College Tornado Athletics behind the scenes. Thanks again for joining us for this edition of Tornado Talk. We'll see you in 2023. Go Tornadoes.